Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where I have been kind of racking my brain about what exactly is going on with these supply routes, and I have a theory. And the theory definitely has something to do with all of these icons here. So I think that what might be going on here is that our supply convoys might be being sunk while passing through particularly this air region. Although it may also have to do with these two air regions. We'll see. Now, I do wish that the tooltip said something about this, instead of just 5% route efficiency. That would be very handy, but that is my current theory. Now, we've directed around some airplanes here. These guys are not currently flying because Cuba has been bombed into submission. I have already gone through and done some repair queue-ups over here. So that's all well and good, but I want to check a couple of things. So I already tried tagging into the US and seeing what they have here. They don't have any Navy here. But what they do have is airplanes, and it's not the US that has the airplanes. If we look here, all of their allies have a bunch of airplanes in Bermuda. Now, I don't actually remember if they have anyone on Bermuda. We might want to consider doing a very, very quick naval invasion here. From, say, here up to here. This might not work. I suspect that they have people garrisoning that, but it's worth a try, in my opinion. If we can get this airbase away from them, that will probably cause quite a change to this situation. Other things that will cause quite a change to the situation definitely include getting these repairs done. Specifically this one. And getting our anti-air guns over here back online. That will be a big deal as well. Now, we're currently pushing our way up over here. I'd love to nuke this. We have pulled a little bit of our air power over Central America. But overall, this is going reasonably fine. And as far as these invasions out here go, I mean, this is not going to last long at this point. These guys are going to be done very, very soon here. There's very little that they can do, especially since I think they no longer have any supply flow whatsoever. So that's going to be done soon. These guys, they are pushing their way in, so that is great as well. And as far as these invasions go, I mean, we've got some awkwardness going on over here. We can definitely work on that, and we've got awkwardness going on over here in Yap as well. So let's go ahead and let those nukes go on off. They are not going very quickly, but there we go. One there, and one here. Okay. Now, we're going to try to push in here, and push in here. Keep in mind we have no supplies, so we're going to back these up with another nuke. Okay, we're winning here, and winning here for now. And when those nukes come in, that should allow us to take this, in theory. And yes, it looks like we are indeed doing exactly that. That's perfect. Wonderful. This looks like it's fluctuating a bit, but we have pushed up over here. So that's great to see. Just checking in over here. Yeah, no nukage allowed. And as far as the air war over Eastern Canada goes, it's roughly 50-50 right now, mostly because these guys are not currently flying out of Greenland. Now, you can see here, they don't have much range, and again, this is because the center of the radius here seems to be centered on the state, not on the airbase, which I think is kind of really weird. I think that that is really, really weird. That said, yeah, that's definitely very strange. If we can push in to take this airbase, that would be a very big deal for us. But we just have no supply flow because of this route efficiency. So we clearly need to do something here. That is for sure. Now, how are we doing in our strategic air map mode? I mean, we're not flying out of Cuba. We're working on it. That should, in theory, improve. We're also working on improving the Caribbean, and again, this should, in theory, improve as we build that airbase up. Can we get any additional airbases built in Cuba? The answer is no, we cannot. And this airbase, unfortunately, is controlled by not us. They don't have that much for supplies here either. What do you suppose the odds are that this attack would be successful? That would be a very big deal for us, if it was. That said, it's also kind of risky, because we have no supply flow. Yeah, not successful. Please stop. Okay, they won't stop, but there they go. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. This is very spooky up here, but I'm pretty sure this has to do with our air control over this region. I'm like 45% sure about that. I know that's not very sure, but that's mostly because the tooltip is unhelpful. Very unhelpful, but I'm pretty certain that our supply convoys are being sunk by their air power here, specifically from Bermuda, and let's see how that ends up going. These guys are going to be able to launch quite soon. Or not these guys specifically, but who is launching here? Okay, yeah, they're on their way. Perfect. So we're hoping that there's nothing in Bermuda. So up we go. We'll arrive there eventually. Fingers crossed. Like I said, I did tag into the US, but I didn't even look at that. I don't remember if there's anything there or not. So this is kind of just a scouting mission, in all honesty. And yeah, they do have some mines out over here. That's definitely a thing. I'm hoping that there's no one here. This would be an ideal scenario. If we can wrest control of this airbase, that is a very big deal. I think. I think. Now, here's a question. Yeah, so you can see the Greenland path here, when it's supplying Greenland. Oh, there's actually supply flow now because it's moved out over here away from these air zones. I'm 95% certain that this air zone is the problem at this point. Because Greenland is getting supplied with 100% efficiency, and now we're getting supplied here with 100% efficiency when the route changed. I do wish we had granular control over the route. That might be something that's in the rework. I haven't really played No Step Back yet, so by really, I mean I haven't played it at all. I would have to update, and this is on the old version. So we'll see if that's a thing in No Step Back. But now that we have some supply over here, that's a huge deal, and I really hope that this doesn't change back until we wrest control of this airbase. I'm like 99% sure right now that this is the problem. But let's see, is there anything in here? Fingers crossed that there isn't. Oh, look at that. There's no enemies here. Okay. So it's not as big of a deal as I thought it would be that there's no enemies here because the route did switch over to over here. And in fact, this route, I'm not sure why it's going to this naval base because there's more supply throughput in this naval base, but whatever. At this point, I expect when we take control of this naval base that this route efficiency will go up. That is the current theory. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so this efficiency is at 100%. This efficiency is still at 5%. It may be being bombarded here, where these are not. That's a possibility. And we definitely want to put some jet fighters into this airbase. So we're going to put jet fighter 2s here, and we're going to do a second wing of those. So 2 wings of jet fighter 2s. Something along the lines of this. And we're using jet fighters for their range here. So we're going to do full reinforcement there. Excellent. And then we're going to redirect these jet fighter 2s over to Central America. These jet fighter 2s are going to be air superioritying over the Sargasso Sea for one of them, and over the Newfoundland Sea for the other. Okay. So, I think we might have this somewhat under control. Emphasis on the somewhat. We have pushed back over here a little bit, and we can see that that is, of course, because we have supply flow over here now. This is a big, big deal. We don't have enough supply flow, but we have some. Fairly soon, we're going to move additional troops over here as our supply flows improve. And our invasion of Alaska has gone off. So that's great. Now, these guys over here, they're also going to be lacking in supply flow. And I didn't even notice that this went off. So that's the thing. We're already taking attrition here. That is, of course, my own fault. And we want to put a front line, like, over... I want to put a front line right here, but apparently we can't do that. For now, we'll leave that be, and we're going to put our front line simply here. Actually, there's already a front line here. We do have an air base here, which is interesting. But I want to select these guys. Looks like these guys have been here for a while. They have basically no supplies. I definitely should have paid closer attention to this. That's my own fault. 100%. You can execute that whenever you're ready. We'll see if the US stack wipes us and throws us off of here because of me not paying attention, or we'll see if they give us the ability to do something about that. One thing that we could think about doing is putting in air wings up here, and I think we're going to do jet fighters here as well. Just because, well, actually we can do one group of fighter 3s and one group of jet fighters, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do fighter 3s and 1,000 of those, and they are going to air superiority over Alaska. And then we're going to do a second wing, which is going to be not fighter 3s, but jet fighter 2s for range. They're in here somewhere. There we go. And those are going to be 1,000 of those, air superioritying down over... Wait, is this all part of Alaska? Hang on. Is this Bering Sea or is this Alaska in the air zone? I'm unclear. This might be Bering Sea. We'll find out. Okay, so hopefully we're going to be able to do some nukage out here eventually. We're hoping that the US is just going to kind of chill up here and not really do too much about this at this time. That's the idea. As far as this down here goes, no nukage to be had. That's okay. Our supply flow over here is fine, actually. I expected this supply flow to be worse. But no, it's good. Are we short on anything right now? We're a little short on modern tanks, actually. We should definitely get more construction of modern tanks going. I did not realize that we had a shortage of those brewing. I haven't looked into that in a while, though. So we should definitely grab our modern tank Mark 1s. And we're going to toss all of these factories into making modern tank Mark 1s. We also may want to get another one set up. I mean, we do have a lot of free military factories right now. That's a thing that we have developed, is a lot of those. So let's get another round of modern tank Mark 1s rolling. And yeah, we don't have any steel for that. So that's a thing that we're going to have to think about. Let's go into our trade, and we're going to grab as much steel as we can. This is the more efficient place to be. There we go. And then sit, like, here. I mean, we're very short on steel at this point because we have so many factories working on these tanks, right? But we're going to definitely throw some factories, or rather, throw some steel at this. So, there we go. Am I dumb? Was that chromium? I'm dumb. That was chromium. We're going to cancel those trades. That was not what I wanted. Trades. Chromium. Yes. Okay. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Steel is the thing that we want. Okay, Greater Hungary, give us everything you got. The US isn't willing to trade with us. I'm shocked. Utterly shocked. Okay, that's everything that we can get right now. Let's double check that we can't do any prospecting, and in fact, we cannot. Okay. In that case, we should work on infrastructure out in some of our newer locations if they produce steel, like this one, as a fairly high priority. Not necessarily absolute peak priority, but fairly high. Although, if they produce steel, I think it should be top priority, now that I think about it. Let's see here. Nothing out over this way. Here's some steel. Cool. Okay, so we'll just get the rest of these queued up as a lower priority. Like so. Okay. Something kind of like that. Getting the infrastructure built is always a good thing. And let's check in over here. These guys, they need to make it over to here. And these guys, they need to stack wipe this force. Excellent. Okay, so let's get in there. And hopefully the US won't stack wipe us until after we have constructed these. But that's going to be a while. So this is risky, no doubt about it. I definitely should have paid closer attention to when these invasions were going off. That's my own fault. If the US doesn't take advantage of it, though, then that's fine. Now, we do have some supply flow up here. You can see that the supply that goes through here is still at 5% root efficiency, whereas these are at 100%. So I definitely think, well, we can see that it's at 100% root efficiency coming through these two zones. So the issue here must objectively be, it has to be, this zone here, the Newfoundland Sea. We have 100% naval supremacy there. Of course, we also have 100% naval supremacy here, and we can see that there's a bunch of enemy ships here. So there's that. But it's clearly not naval supremacy, right? It's also clearly not air supremacy. We have full air supremacy there right now. We have full air supremacy up in eastern Canada as well, and we may want to utilize that to our advantage. We'll drop nukes in these locations where we see large clusters of enemy forces, like so. Okay, let's check in down over here. Can we do a nuke? No, we cannot. That's fine. How's air superiority looking up over here? Okay, so we have some air superiority up here, but not right now. They're not performing their missions, and I suspect that's due to supply, but I don't know that for a fact. It would be great to be able to do nukage up here, that's for sure. But I don't think that's going to be a possibility for a while. Let's see here. Yeah, we also don't have strategic bombers up in this direction. And, I mean, we could put a couple of strategic bombers up here. So, Jet Strategic Bomber 2s. Where might I find those in here? Or, it's just Jet Strategic Bomber 1s, isn't it? Okay, so we'll do that, and we'll just have, like, 50 of them here. Okay, so they'll get there eventually. Which is about the same time that we'll complete these naval bases over here. That is going to be also in the category of eventually. Our supplies are wildly fluctuating over here. There's no doubt about that. So the question becomes, what is it about this tile that is giving us 5% root efficiency? We have 100% naval supremacy here. They have no mines. We have 100% air supremacy. But yet we know for a fact that it has to be this tile. The reason we know that is because we're making it through this tile here with the Curacao to Bermuda route. We're making it through here with 100% efficiency. We're making it through here with 100% efficiency. this up here, everything is tile-based, so I don't think that this up here is, in fact, the issue. And then we make it through this with 100% efficiency and this with 100% efficiency, which means that the only possible tile for this would, in fact, be this C tile. But it's not our naval supremacy, and it's not our air superiority. Is it simply trying to pass through this? I suppose that could be a problem. We could have these guys come up and prepare another naval invasion over here. I'm not necessarily claiming that they will be successful at that, but they can get started on that. And in fact, we do have some divisions over here, 6 of them, that we can toss into there. That's perfect. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll see if that ends up working. I'm not convinced that it will. Okay, in our air map mode, let's take a look up here. Yeah, these guys are just not currently flying. And then Alaska and Northwest Coast are 2 different things. So we definitely want these guys to be assigned to Alaska. There we go. And then if we check down here, this is part of Alaska. Okay, so that is good to know. Alaska sticks out down over here. We are working on constructing those naval bases. If they continue chilling over here, then that's great. We'll see. I attempted looking up the problem as well on like the wiki and such, but I don't know what's causing this particular zone to lose its efficiency. But now that we are flowing some supplies up this way, that is helping dramatically. 25% of previous infrastructure is a thing, and it's flowing out of this port right now. We do have max infrastructure here, so that's okay. We are working on infrastructure in this area, of course. And that'll all finish up eventually. Emphasis on the eventually. But the fact that we have some supply flow here is very helpful. We can continue to nuke this location if we want, but actually we do have this airbase fully damaged, so that's a big deal for us right now. These guys are not yet pushing in, but we've still got another 10 days until we get our first level of naval base in each of these locations. That's rough. And I'm pretty sure these guys are not flying out due to supply. Fairly certain on that one. So we'll let that naval base hopefully finish up in the next few days. Fingers crossed on that one. Are we pushing these guys back at all? No. This is fine that we're kind of stalemated here right now because we are working on our supply problems over here. I'm completely content with that at this point. As our infrastructure finishes up in some of these locations, things should get better. And as our naval bases continue to construct, things are improving as well. So you can see here our supply throughput is 18. We're only actually getting 10 supply throughput here, and that is due to our local infrastructure, looks like. So that is fine. We will definitely be finishing that up soon enough. Okay, let's check in over here. These guys have not managed to start attacking us yet. This is good. This is very good. And in fact, these naval bases did finish. Excellent. So you can see here we do have some supply flow now. So these guys are going to get an offensive line of pushing up to simply... Well, that isn't doing what I want, but sure, like that. That'll do. These guys... Do they even have... They do have a front line. Okay, cool. So they're going to start pushing up as well, if they can. This is going to be challenging for them, because supply flow here is minimal. And we want to make sure that, for right now, these guys are attacking in a balanced manner. We don't want them to exhaust their supplies too much. So much that they get pushed out. I am hoping that we're going to have some air superiority over here soon, but all of our supplies, I think, are currently going to our divisions over here, and that's reasonably okay, I suppose. So yeah, we'll just let our supplies regenerate a little bit over here. And these invasions are appearing to go okay. What we really need to focus on at this point is getting our air supremacy in these locations. That is a big thing, but of course the supplies still need to come in over here, and the supplies need to come in over here as well. So that's all something that we can work on. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to continue our invasion of North America. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.